Welcome back to Slothbox. I'm Lyndon Dixon, joined today by Luke Evans. Luke, how are you, mate?
Yeah, doing good, mate. How are you?
Yeah, not too bad. So I want to go right back to the start. How did Luke Evans get into boxing?
It's a good one. That I was starting high school. Predominantly, I wanted to be a footballer. My dad was a footballer, semi-pro footballer, and he was really good. So I wanted to follow in his footsteps. Um, but as a child, I had a lot of puppy fat and things like that, and I was actually being bullied in the latter stages of my primary school. So I decided to take up boxing, and I just fell in love with it. And within I'd probably say 10 months, I had my first fight at aged 11. So yeah, it's just been one of them things where I've never looked back. I've just stuck to it and made it my profession and worked hard. And it's crazy because a lot of kids, they fall off around the ages of 15, 16, get involved with the mates and stuff. I never did that. I was sparring pros at that age. So it's one of them things where I've got to succeed. So
Hmm.
that's how it started. Yeah.
Was it love at first sight with boxing in terms of you knew it was going to be a career, or was there anything else? Because, like you said, football, your dad was a footballer as well. Was there anything else other than boxing?
To be honest with you, I had a lot of energy as a kid. I had lots of energy as a kid, and not only that as well. Like I wanted to be a footballer. That was my goal. Like if I want a boxer, I'd definitely try and make it as a footballer. But on another side of things as well, because I had such an old head on young shoulders at the time, I didn't want to kind of live in my dad's shadow. So um, there's a few members of my family who have actually former football players. One currently is a football player. My second cousin George, he actually plays for Millwall. So so it runs in the family, and he's a former City player. So it's quite an experienced family in terms of sports. But I wanted to try my hand at boxing, and as far as I know, in the bloodline of my family, there's been no other boxers. So hopefully, I'm flying the flag for the future.
Well, talking of flying the flag, you've won a few, I read earlier, a few Northwest titles in your amateur career. How did you find the amateurs as a whole? Were you happy with how it finished?
You know what? I turned pro quite early.
Mm.
Maybe a year, maybe 2 years too early. I would have liked to have done another year in the ABAs because I didn't think that I reached my full potential in the amateurs, even though I started getting the results in the latter stages of my amateur career towards the youth and senior level. Um, in the amateurs, there's a lot of like bad decisions as well, which kind of led me to make that decision and thought, why not get paid for it? Why not get the exposure that my skills deserve? So that ultimately led making the decision, and I turned pro 18, had my first fight within a couple of weeks of getting my license and my medical passed. So yeah, it was a mad journey. Yeah.
But like we said, it was a decent amateur career, but you only get it once. How was that debut?
Mate. The debut was very special. I remember it was on channel. It was Channel Manchester. It was called at the time. I don't think they have it anymore. So like a local like broadcast channel. And I remember Jamie Moore commentating on my fight. In the lead up, I was sparring Tommy Coyle, so that was surreal. And Tommy Coyle was doing really well at the time. Um, and I remember boxing a journeyman called Matt Seawright. He was tough as all boots. He had pink shorts. And I remember weighing in the first time I weighed in, I was 10 stone 2, and he was 10 stone 10. I didn't make any fuss of it because I didn't really understand the business side of it. But knowing what I know now, I thought, wow, should have taxed him for a few quid there. But yeah, £8 weight advantage. I remember doing it because I was doing 6-2s. The board wouldn't allow him to do 4-3s for whatever reason. So I ended up doing 6-2s, and that was quite crazy. So yeah, the debut was amazing, mate.
Mm.
Wouldn't trade it for anything.
Well, perfect. But before we get into anything else, I want to talk about something big that happened in your life. After about I think 7 fights, you were
Yep.
victim to a knife attack, and I just wondered because that's incredible that you've been through that and you're still here and you're still fighting at a great level. How did that affect you at that moment in your life? What was that like to go through?
To be honest, it was really tough mentally, especially early on. Thankfully I've got a supportive family around me, and and at that time I was still quite I wasn't mature enough for my age at that time. So it did really hit me hard. Especially with the mental health side of it. And hopefully, I'd like to be some sort of advocate for people who have struggled, with, their mental health issues, for anxiety and depression, and still to this day, I do have certain, things where I have to question certain people and try and work them out, before meeting them and stuff. And I'm always looking over my shoulder in that sense. It's just one of them things that happened, and obviously, the people that was involved, they was prosecuted, and hopefully, they've gone on to live a more, a better life, and not follow that life of crime. Because it is sad that, the younger generation now, they're being brought up with knives and, gang violence and stuff because they've got nothing else to do. So my advice to them would be, get in your boxing gym, get in your local boxing gym. And if there's not a local boxing gym, get in your football team. If there's not a local football team, go and find something that you can put your mind to, even studying, like the business side of it. Go and learn an education, don't follow that life of crime, because you're only going to end up dead or in jail. So, you know what I mean? That's the truth.
Yeah, you're right. But at that point, when you was going through all of that mentally and definitely physically, was there ever a thought of, nah, I think the boxing career, maybe it stops here?
Yeah, I mean, there was a few occasions where I thought, you know what, I've had 7 fights, I can look back and be proud. I was never meant to do anything in the professional side of it. I was never destined to go on and be a future world champion. I mean, that would be a massive shock to many people if I did go and do that. But at that time, it was just more about getting myself back and getting my life back on track. Because it was a huge setback, and like I said, with the injuries that I sustained, everybody thought my career was over. Thankfully, I've been able to resume since, and now we're here.
Exactly. Now we are here. You're 12-0 with one draw, and you're at the Hatton Gym, trained by Matthew. I just want to know, with Ricky, Matthew, Campbell now as a pro, there's some great talent in the gym. What is the Hatton Gym like?
Yeah, obviously, like Matthew, we have clicks with Rick's gym, so we'll go down sparring every now and then. It's always good to see them lads. But working under Matthew's tutelage, honestly, mate, he just gave me that confidence that, even since that incident happened, I did lose a lot of confidence in myself and in my boxing ability. I was just doing it just to keep me sane, really. But now I'm starting to get that confidence back, and it's showing in the fights as well. It's showing that, I'm hitting a little bit harder, I'm listening a little bit more. I look much more like a complete boxer than what I did before I even joined Matthew. And I'll tell you a quick story as well. Before I actually joined Matthew's gym, I was 13 stone 4 pounds, and I see Matthew running down a road, and I was walking, and I just thought to myself, like, it should be me running and him walking. I thought, right, that's it. And then we got in touch with each other. He asked me to come down, and obviously I clicked with him straight away. And I've known Matthew since I was 17, 18 years old, because he used to spar some of his old lads. But yeah, Matthew's a terrific person, and he's got my best interests at heart as well, which not many boxing coaches do. They'll just feed you to the lions. They won't protect you, won't look after you properly. But Matthew looks after me to the best of his ability, and that's what boxing coaches should do to a certain extent. So yeah, probably, if I didn't have Matthew in my corner now, I don't really know where I'd go in terms of my boxing career. So I think that would be the final curtain then if it didn't work out.
Moving on from yourself for a minute, I just wondered if I could get a few predictions from you. The big
Yeah.
one that's on everyone's lips at the minute, Fury Usyk. Is Usyk the man to give Fury his first loss? Tell me.
Oh,
Yeah, it's a tough one.
stylistically, yes. I mean, a very elusive southpaw with great head movement. I think Fury has to impose his size. I don't think he should try and outbox Usyk. I think he just needs to go in there, get close to him, push his head down, smother him, land a few like dirty shots on him, bully him. Needs to bully him, because Usyk can dance around for 12 rounds. It's just a matter of Tyson timing Usyk, because Usyk's style, he's kind of an in and out boxer, as you've seen with Anthony Joshua. Anthony Joshua couldn't really lay a glove on him. And Anthony Joshua's got quick hands, let me tell you. He's got quick hands. But Fury's just very elusive, and he's a very good mover himself. So I think it'll be a bit of a chess match, but I do see Fury winning the fight. It just depends what Fury we get.
Yeah. What about the fight that is said to be made, said to not be made, but hopefully we see it before the end of the year? Tank Davis against Ryan Garcia. It's going to be a massive fight if it happens. Who's the winner there for you?
That is one fight that I am looking forward to. That, along with Crawford and Spence, unfortunately, I don't think that's being made yet. But in terms of the Garcia and Tank fight, wow. Garcia's got quick hands, and he can punch as well. But I just feel like there's a little bit of vulnerability there. And someone of, the explosiveness of Tank, I just think that might play in Tank's favour a little bit. I think it's a fight where Garcia will win rounds, maybe win more rounds than Tank. And then I think Ryan will probably walk onto a big shot, and then we'll see. We'll kind of see when he boxes Luke Campbell. We'll see what he's made of. If he can get back up and keep fighting, and I think Tank. Yeah.
In the super lightweight division, we've got the rematch. Hopefully, I've seen all of a sudden Taylor's got an injury, but Josh Taylor against Jack Catterall. How does that go the second time around? Because there was the controversy with the first one, and then they saw each other at the weekend and were going at it. How do you see the rematch?
Both terrific lads. Both very good advocate for British boxing. Both level-headed, work hard, and they're reaping the rewards now. The first fight was a cracker. I expect nothing less in the second fight when it gets made. I think stylistically, Jack doesn't need to change too much, but I think Josh does. It also depends on the weight as well, because, I think Josh may be tight at the weight at 10 stone. And I do think his best fights will be at 10-7 at welterweight. I thought Jack won the first fight. But that's not to take away the performance that Josh also put on as well, because he did a lot to come back from the knockdown. The flash knockdown. So yeah, I think it'll be a good fight. I'm eager to see it. I can't really put a winner on it, but obviously I know Jack really well, even from the amateur days. So I'm hoping Jack pulls it off.
Well, back to yourself, mate. Like we was just mentioning there, the division's stacked at the minute, both just in the UK and then internationally. Like, it's crazy to see. What do you hope to? What fights? Is there any fighters you hope to be in the ring with by the end of the year?
I'm not really one for calling people out. Not really my style. I let my fist do the talking. Obviously I know you got to call people out here and there, but it's not really my style.
Not yet.
I do plan on moving up to 147 for this fight. Just testing myself at this weight, see how I fit in. I think 10 stone maybe was getting a little bit too tight for myself. In terms of the notice, if I get a big fight, maybe I won't be able to make the 10 stone limit that I'd have if I had longer to make it. So I think welterweight will be a good division for me, and there's a few good fighters in the welterweight division. Outside your top 2 or 3, so like McKinson, Congo, Essuman, Conor Ben. Obviously, I don't know what's Conor Ben's doing at the moment. Outside of them, there's some interesting fights to be made for myself, and I'll pick myself in any of them fights. So yeah, forward to what the future holds.
Yes. Well, how's camp going for that fight? Because you're fighting in March. I'm not sure if there's been an opponent announced yet, but how's camp going for that so far?
Really well, yeah, really good, mate. Like I said, I only found out I was fighting a few weeks ago, so I've had 1 or 2 weeks just getting my fitness back. Today was my second sparring camp. Did 8 rounds with a southpaw. I think we have got an opponent, but it's not 100% confirmed yet. But it's looking like a Nicaraguan southpaw who's based in Spain, who's a tough opponent, got a 50-50 record. So that should be good. I'm not too sure of his name, but he has boxed on UK shores before. So that'll be an interesting fight. I'm training really hard for it. I always prepare my best, the best I possibly can, because I know whatever opponent I get, they will be turning up to win. Because for some reason, they never lie down for me like they do for other people. So, but that doesn't bother me. I've always done it the hard way. I'll continue doing it the hard way, because all I want at the end of my career is just people to say, yeah, Luke Evans was a great fighter.
Mm,
That's a world title to me. So
yeah,
the main thing is I keep winning, I keep improving, I keep listening, and hopefully my fan base keeps growing as well.
exactly, mate. Well, 2023 is a big year. The last question from me:
Yeah.
where do you see yourself come the end of the year? What have you done?
Mm, I'm hoping either a champion of some sort, or hopefully signed to one of the big promoters.
Mhm.
Either or, a champion,
Yeah,
even if that's an area title, an English title, or an international title, one of the three will do. Um, or being signed to a big promoter, that will get me the exposure that I feel I deserve, and I feel like my supporters deserve as well, because
mhm.
I've got a very good fan base, and I'm always doing my tickets well, and the nights just keep getting bigger. So hopefully one of the promoters will cotton on and give me that opportunity.
Well, mate, it's been a pleasure speaking to you. Thanks for coming on. I've been
You're
Lyndon
welcome,
Dixon.
mate.
He's been Luke Evans, and we'll see you on the next one.
Cheers, thanks, mate.
Cheers.